Hello everyone, I hope you are all wonderful and gearing up to the end of the year. So this is the next video, the third video that I've done, and it's a little bit later than I wanted it to be, but here we go. So I wanted to do a video on mindset shifts because that's what's really going to need to happen, and I'm going to have my people that turn around and say things that talking gibberish, talking nonsense, that don't believe me, that don't agree with me, which is all good. It's all good, alright? Like I've said in my other videos, I'm not saying I'm right and everybody else is wrong who doesn't agree with me. This is just my opinion, as I always say, and my experience. This is not advice. This is not me doing recommendations. This is not me giving you a course. This is just me sharing my experiences that I have faced and the outcomes of those experiences and what I've done to overcome those challenges. All right, that best suit my beliefs and my morals, more importantly, my morals and where I stand with things. So, but I'm always here to hear other people's opinions, and I might change. I might shift my opinions if I actually think, you know what, I didn't think of that, but that aligns with me actually. That's I'm gonna change. I'm gonna go look at that in a little bit more detail. Yeah. And what I always say is, don't just take my word for it. Don't just take my word for it. Go and do your own research. Go and do your own research, which none of these news outlets and things like that will tell you to do. They just want you to believe what they tell you. And most people do, unfortunately. The majority out there, loved ones for me included, will just believe what the corporate media is the term that I like to put to them, as a lot of others do, and it rings true for me. It rings true within my mind that that's what they are. They have an agenda, and they will put the agenda across based on their shareholders, if you like, because it's a benefit to the shareholders of those news outlets. Anyway, I'm not going to go into all that. That will come later on, but that's my opinion on that matter specifically. So mindset shifts, is what I really want to talk about in this video, because I had to go through a massive mindset shift, because I was raised, like many others, if not all, but many other people, especially in this country, where I'm based in the UK, is that we are brought into this world and raised by parents lovingly, and their philosophies are imprinted on us. Yeah. And most of those philosophies are to trust the system, trust the councils, trust the schools, trust the government, trust the powers that be, and this is the way that life is. Like I mentioned, I think it was my first video, but it doesn't matter. Go to school, get a good education, get good grades, go on to college, get more good grades, pass your exams, go on to university, or go and get a job. Go and get a job, go and be in PAYE, go and get a job, and that's it. You then do your job and to stick at it, focus on it, and get a pension, get a good pension, and then work toward your end of days, if you like. Yeah. And that's like the philosophy that was imprinted on me when I was a lot younger. And I didn't think anything of it. I didn't think anything, none the wiser, because I didn't know there was any other choices. And when I say that, there's obviously, you need to make money. Of course you do. Unfortunately, not the way of the world is that you need money to pay for things. That's just the nature of things, and that's the reality that we're in, right? So that's is what it is. So we have to go and make money and to live the life that we want to live, whatever that may be. You know, success is different in different people's eyes. You know, as one person might say, success is raising their children really healthily with good mindsets, and they've got a 9 to 5. That's fine. It's absolutely fine. Other people may say, well, success is running their own business successfully for X amount of years. They've got a lovely house, you know, nice cars, and that's successful to them. Other people might be success as, you know, they're the best sportsman at what they've done. They've made loads and loads of not made. They don't make them. They earn loads and loads of trophies, and that's success. So success is different, you know, measured on, you know, based on the individual. All right. So whatever success looks like for you, no one's wrong. All right, no one's wrong unless you're doing bad things. That is obviously, unless you're doing bad things. But anyway, so having that mindset shift that perhaps that's not the only choice available. Go and get a job. Perhaps what we could teach our kids to do is what their strengths are, to focus on those strengths. To focus on those strengths and look at what role they can play. Not job, what role they can play. And what role do they want to play? Not trying to force a child down a certain path. As a father myself, I have aspirations for my kids, but if they don't want to do those things, fine. I would love my sons to be well into football, be well into golf. I love those things, be into skiing or snowboarding. They're things that I love doing. But if they're not into those things, then it's okay. So therefore, I want to encourage my children to do what they want to do, what they're passionate about, what makes them happy. And if that turns out to be when they're 18, 19, 20, whatever, they want to go and get a job in a certain company or corporation, okay. It's not what I want for them, but that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's what they want. It's their life. It's their life. Therefore, when they're of a certain age, they can make their own judgments. Up until they're an age of making their own decisions, because they've got enough intellect and, you know, enough maturity to take all the consequences and circumstances into consideration to make a sensible judgment for themselves, then obviously me and my other half and their mother will guide them as best as we see fit. You know, but when that point comes, if they want to get a job, fine, go do it, enjoy the job. Just make sure it's a job that you enjoy. And if you wake up one morning, you're like, oh God, and it feels like a complete drag, and you let that go on and on and on, that's not a life to live. So quit. Quit. I just quit a job recently. You know, well, I'm self-employed, but I just quit a role recently because I just didn't see it working. I wasn't enjoying it, and I gave it a month. I came out of a role I'd been doing for 6 years, and I went on to start doing something, and I'm now moving, and I didn't want to keep that job going, and I wasn't enjoying it anyway. So it doesn't matter. I'm done. Called the boss up on Monday, and I'm done. And it doesn't matter, because I'm not gonna wake up on a morning and think, oh God, and I've got to drag myself out of bed just to do a job that I don't like. That's not a life to live. It's not a life to live. But don't you feel that's something we should encourage our children to do? To do something that they enjoy doing. It doesn't matter what that is. Cleaning, doing the waste, you know, whatever it is. I don't care what it is. society needs all those things to a degree. To a degree. Obviously, we could all go ourselves and take our rubbish to the dump ourselves instead of really grateful, by the way, for these people doing their roles which collect the rubbish and those sorts of things. But if all of them wanted to pack it in because they had ambition to do other things, I'm not going to get my back up about it. Great, good for them. Good for them. And I'll happily go and just take my rubbish to the dump. It'll be a lot busier down there, obviously. There'll be a huge amount of queues and there'll have to be a system in place, blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to go on that. That's a boring topic. But anyway, but that's my opinion, and that's how I feel about those things. Because we have our own individual lives, and to have the freedom to make the choice of what we want to do with our life. How we want to feel. How we want to be. And what we want to do. And I feel really strongly that is, I'm trying to think of the word now, that's a way of life that we should share with our children from the very, very beginning. Whether they go to school, whether they're homeschooled, our children are homeschooled, and that's what I really feel strongly about for my kids. That I do, as long as what you do doesn't harm anyone, it's not breaking the law, and I mean the actual law, and you enjoy it. You enjoy it. They're the three main things. You're not harming anyone or anything. You're not breaking the law, and you enjoy it. No particular order, but they're the three main things that I am encouraging. Obviously, they're a little bit young at the moment, but they all get it as they grow older. And hoping that they take that forward with them, and should they have children, they will then imprint that on their children. Should they choose to. Remember, everybody, it's a choice. We have choices. So if it's a job, that's one choice. You could go and start your own business in whatever it may be. You could go and live off the land if you want to. It doesn't matter to anyone else. Obviously, it may affect your loved ones and things like that, but I've spoken previously before. But if you're making your decisions based on what your loved ones want you to do, whose life you're living? Theirs or yours? And if you allow people around you to influence you, that's fine, as long as it's something you're happy with, guys. Remember, that's something you're happy with. That's the defining factor. Are you happy? And if you're not, you need to make a change. And if you don't agree with something, you need to stand your ground. You've got to stand your ground and put a defence in place. I'm not saying to go and start a fight. I'm not saying to go and start a fight, start an argument, because those sorts of things don't go anywhere. But have a conversation. Have a debate. And when I say a debate, it doesn't mean it needs to be controversial. Or however many people have differences of opinion, and you have a debate to see each other's side of it. Doesn't mean you're going to persuade each other, but you can at least see where each other are coming from, and then you can see a point of view from where they're standing. And it might make you feel better about their decisions that they're making. You may not agree with it still, but you may see it in a better light. But we've got to have that conversation instead of just spitting our dummy out, kicking our toys on the floor, and having a tantrum and not willing to listen. Have a conversation so that someone can understand. I don't like that phrase anymore. I'll come on to in later videos as to why, but I don't really like that phrase, understanding, because in the eyes of the law it means different things. Anyway, so they can see your point of view. That's a better way of putting it. They can see your point of view, and it shines a light on something that perhaps you couldn't see. But having that mindset shift, you have to initially open your mind to stuff. Remember the film Total Recall? Not the new one with Colin Farrell in it, the old one with Arnold Schwarzenegger in it. You've got the little, God, I don't even know what to call it. You've got like the alien baby thing that's on the edge of a man's stomach. It's really weird, but yeah, you have that, and he's taking him into a mindset trip, if you like, and he's talking about open your mind. I'll see if I can find a clip of it. But anyway, saying open your mind, yeah, and you have to open your mind to this if you want to. If you want to make a change up here, mentally and physically, you have to open your mind to different things. Because if you think the ways you've always been thinking throughout your life, you'll carry on the way things have always been, because you're not changing the way you're thinking. Yeah, look at inventors. If they just think about the same thing over and over and over, that's the definition, and expecting a different result based on their invention. That's the definition of insanity, because you're doing the same thing over and over and over and over, and you're expecting the same result, a different result. Nothing's going to change. Nothing will change. But if you open your mind to other things, so you take different action, you'll get a different result. You will. It might not be overnight. That was a really bad click. That's a really bad click anyway. But it might take a day, it might take a week, month, years. But in time, that change will happen. I was speaking to a bunch of people at the weekend. I was hosting an event, and there was some people that wanted to do something, but they couldn't afford to do it. So my recommendation to them was to look at your lifestyle. What do you do on a daily basis that does not serve you? Could be as simple as buying coffee. I like coffee, by the way, so yes, I enjoy a coffee, but you don't need to buy it. Buy your lunches, cigarettes, and other things. But and those things cost money, and you do those on a daily basis. You could go to Starbucks and Costa. I'm not promoting those, by the way. There are other coffee suppliers out there. But anyway, it's like £5, £4.50 for one of those nowadays. You have 3 of those a day, that's £15. That may not, it's not a lot of money, but if you do that daily, that amounts to a lot, because that compounds. So if you want to start looking at changing the health of your bank balance, let's say, look at your lifestyle. What things are you paying out for that's just not serving you? You don't need to. Again, we're raised in society to go and just buy stuff. Just buy stuff that we don't really need. It's just through advertising that it creates this thing in my mind. Oh, I want that. You don't really need it, but you go and buy it anyway because it looks good. It's cool. It's what's the word? It creates. It's more efficient. It's more convenient. That's the word I was looking for. Convenience. That's what the world's built around now. Convenience. Yeah. We're all going to end up just being complete fat slobs. Because of technology and people just not having to get up and, turn the speaker off. I was at fault of that the other day. My other half said to me, the mother of my children, she said stop the music, and I looked at my phone to stop the music. Just get up and press it, she said. And I was caught in it. I was like, I'm just gonna, yeah, you're right. And I got up and I pressed the stop button. But that's true, right? That's just what technology is doing to us if we let it. Obviously, technology is very, very, very useful. I'm not saying it isn't. I'm not saying it isn't in any way, shape, or form. For you techies out there and technology lovers, I'm not saying technology is bad. Not. But anyway, so with regards to having that mindset shift, we need to have that open mind and accept there are other options available. And that's one thing that the system does not make us aware of. That there are other choices. That you have to do this, you have to do that, there are no other choices. When I'm here to say, yes, there is. Because the system is designed to feed itself. To feed itself. To get you within the system, and you're in the clutches of the system, and sometimes it's hard to see a way out. How to break free. But there are ways of doing it, because, for example, you're paying for something, taxes, for example, okay? Where does that money go? Now, we all believe, or we want to believe, where that money goes to pay the services. Okay, that's cool. Pay the services. And to go towards other things. But if you don't know what those other things are, shouldn't we know? The tax brackets, like the higher tax bracket, 40%. 40%. 20%, even that. We don't know where that money going. And some of it is going into line the pockets of the MPs, is my based on my knowledge. I could be wrong on that, but my knowledge. And do I agree with what politicians do? No, I don't. I don't at all. So why should I feed their lifestyle? Give them more power? No. Sorry, I don't agree with you. I don't agree with what you do. I don't agree on your policies. I don't trust you, so why on earth would I want to give you money? And we're all told they have to do these things. You have to do them. I'm learning lots and lots more through these things, and I'm going to share with you a lot more. But what I wanted to do before I start getting into some of the things that I've done and challenges that I've faced, I really wanted to spend a bit of time with you guys to hopefully start to open your mind and start to trigger a few things for you to open your mind. Because if you don't agree with something and it's being enforced onto you, it doesn't mean that it's right. It doesn't mean that it's right. And you do have a choice. You will always have a choice. Like I say, my opinion on it is as long as you don't hurt anyone or anything, steal, damage anybody's property, everything else is fair game. Everything else is fair game. As long as you're not doing those things, you are then morally on the high ground. Great. It's been really good spending some time with you based on mindset. I'm going to do other mindset sessions on things that I do and techniques that I've used over the years to help me in my mindset to have that shift. But great spending some time with you guys. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. I'm open to all opinions. Even if you don't agree with me, that's absolutely fine. Happy to hear from you. And just always remember, be safe,